right, all right. Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Chris Hawkins. This is your best life defined. Man, I'm getting tired. I woke up this morning, my ass was kicked. No, it was. I'm like, oh, I got to do podcast today, right? Yeah, oh no, that happens to me. You're not the only one who wakes up, drags your ass out of bed, and goes, "Damn, gotta do another day of this." You wake up, have those days when you wake up and you wish you were, yeah, the day was already over, right? You're like sitting there going, "Damn, wish the day was already over." Yeah, no, gee, I get it, man. I get it. I'm just showing up every day trying to make sure I don't lose my mind. I don't get off track and do something stupid that wrecks my ship, crashes my plane, right? Because we're flying along pretty good right now. Life's pretty good for us. So, hey, let's get to the. I'm just having fun with this. Let's get to the point of this whole issue right here. So, let me ask you a question. Here's the question of the day. Are you like most people? Now, give it a minute. Think about it. Are you like most people? Chances are you may not think you are, but hell yeah. Hell yeah, that's what this conversation is going to be about. What I want to talk about is I want to talk about why it's almost impossible for us to escape the dynamic that we live in. This thing where no matter who you are or where you come from or what your ideals start out as, your life eventually takes on the same exact appearance as the lives of those around you, right? The people you've never met, you will never meet. The whole culture is created around this idea. And that shit used to bother me. I remember as a kid, I was like, growing up, even as a young man, I was like buying a house and working my ass off. And I kept asking myself in the back of my mind, why? Of all the things I could do, why would I do that, right? And I'm asking people questions. And of course, my dad died. And that's when everything changed for me. And I'm really focused on, well, damn. What's the secret? Well, the secret for me was to not be like most people. Because you see where it's going. I mean, and this is the issue. If you're like most people, right, and you're rolling along and you look down the road 20 years at someone you know who's lived a life just like you, then friggin' roll with it. Go for it. If you love what they look like, then you should love what you're going to look like in 20 years. And if you look at how they spent that time, that's what's really important. If you look at how they spent that time from now to 20 years from now, how cool was it? How cool was it to wake up and do all of those things they do every day for 20 years? Maybe they were having fun, maybe they were rocking it, but I'm sitting here thinking, I don't think so. If you're like most people, that's where you're headed. If you're like most people, that's where you're headed. And the reason this happens is because we don't even realize it anymore, but this is the blueprint. This tells us what we should do. And there's so much prestige and sense of connection and inclusion in the idea of owning a fancy home and having all the nice stuff. But once you get in that position, where do you go from there? All right, you got the house, you got the cars, you have all the stuff. What next? That's about the time my wife and I jumped ship, right? That's about the time Sandy and I said, screw this. We can do so much better, right? We can do so much better than that, right? And then the ball started rolling. We're looking at housing. We're living in the fifth wheel. And then next thing I'm doing a podcast, working on a book. We go out and do a lot of things other people don't do. I go to the park and do calisthenics, right? I do pull-ups and push-ups and things like that, right? Every day. That isn't like most people. If it was like most people, the park would be full of old guys doing push-ups and pull-ups. If you want to take your life in a new direction, you got to do something different. I get flack all the time. People are like, you don't know what you're talking about. I love my life. You don't know what you're talking about. I love my life. It isn't an issue of love. It's an issue of where you going. I'm not content. I'm sorry. When I looked at after my dad died, I'm sitting here looking at my life, and I'm realizing that my life is on this same exact trajectory as my father's. I remember my dad. He would tell me, he would talk about, man, I wish I could get me a diesel pusher. But in the end, he was never able to actually step past his fear and make that jump. Right? He was never able to do that. So, like most people, he stayed in his house and he putted around with his stuff, and his world never got any bigger than that. And sadly, unless you break the cycle, unless you decide that you're going to make a change and change directions and eliminate something or add something to your life that takes your life to the next level on any plane. It doesn't matter whether it's your relationship or your employment status or maybe your income or how you are as a parent. It doesn't matter where you exercise that decision. If you change directions and you change directions beyond where you are right now, guess what? You're no longer like most people. I'm cool. I'm cool with it. I'm okay with where I'm at. If I don't show up here, or my life, my success in my life personally isn't contingent upon this particular endeavor, right? I could stop doing podcasts today, and guess what? My life would still continue to grow because I would fill up that space with something else that I love to do, something else that challenges me, something else I don't know how to do. It's kind of cool. I'm working through the book, and it's just like I'm on the last edit. I'm on the last work through on this book. And editing, I got to say, I take my hat off to anyone who edits books because it is tough work. But I'm on the last edit, and I'm like, I've never been there before. I've never got a book. I've never written a book to this point where it's like, okay, clean it up. Just add some parentheses and take out some commas and fix a few words, switch some things around, right? How many people in your life have you talked to in the last 3 months who are actually actively writing a book or actually are where I am or farther? Why would anyone write a book? Didn't have anything better to do. My idea for writing the book is simple. There's a need. I mean, I don't know how many thousands of people jumped out in the RV life all last year. COVID-19 hit and we all became mountain people, right? We're going to go live in the mountains, okay? And then you come to the mountains and sit outside and drink too much, and on Friday you start, and on Sunday you pack up and go home. That's a reasonable attempt at not being like most people, but the problem is you did it when most people were doing it. That's the silliness about this whole thing. I don't know, I laugh at it. I laugh at it because I keep pushing it out there. So let's talk a little bit about how it got this way. Let's go with that direction with this conversation. So how did we get to this point where it is so difficult for us to step in a new direction? Well, the truth is, it's scary as hell. Stepping in a new direction is scarier than anything we do because it's the unknown, right? The unknown. I don't know why at this point that every once in a while I get all nervous about this podcast, like maybe I'm robbing you of something because I actually dare to put my opinion out there, right? But how else do I establish myself? Say, I haven't mentioned it in a while, but the key here is that I don't want to be forgotten. If there was anything in my life that I'm striving to do, it's to have an impact on the world that I'm in right now to the point that when I'm gone, someone remembers me. Someone says, "Oh, wow, dude, how you been, man?" Right? What other thing can you do? What other thing is greater than that? I mean, no one, because really, when you think about it, granted, someone will say, "Man, I wish I was rich," or "I wish I'd have won Powerball." But you don't spend any time thinking about other people's great stuff and their great houses, other than in passing. Your life is full of your business, right? I know what it's like to own a house. Owned one for most of my life. I know what it's like to own a conventional house. Yeah. If you want to live your best life, if you're interested in experiencing more of the goodness that life has to offer, or maybe if you're unfortunate, if you're actually just trying to realign yourself so you can actually survive and grow in a struggling environment, right? It starts by saying, this is where I am, and this is where I need to go. It doesn't get any more difficult than that. I guarantee you, you will continue to be like most people as long as you do what most people do. And while you're out there doing what most people do, something to consider is how much fun is it? How much fun is it to live your day? Oh, here's a good angle for you. If you were shopping for a day, all right, you have a day, you have to buy a day, and you go to the day store where they sell your perfect day, and you go shopping for a day. Would you pick tomorrow? Would you pick everything about tomorrow? I don't know. I would. I would pick tomorrow with a few add-ons, but yeah. You can't get where you want to go if you don't do what it takes to get there. And that's where we're at on this. And a lot of people are going to continue to be like most people because it's comfortable, because there's safety in numbers, because it takes effort beyond what you're already expending to actually do something new, to integrate something new into your life. I mean, you look at this podcast, I have to actually set time aside and put a substantial amount of effort into producing what you get to see every day. And that's the part that people don't see. And granted, maybe the message is where it's at, and maybe most of the world obviously isn't ready for it. It doesn't make it any less valid. Because the point in its simplest terms is, why are you spending so much time doing crap that sucks when you could be doing stuff that you enjoy? Why would you choose to grow a lawn, water a lawn, feed a lawn, mow a lawn, when you could take a walk, take a hike, take a bike ride, spend time with your partner, go fishing? The reason you choose it is because it's like most people. The reason you choose it is because it's right there like everyone else. Pretty safe place to be, right? Oh, we're safe. Well, we're like mom and dad. Oh, yeah, okay. And then we find comfort. We find acknowledgement in our success, right? In being like everyone else. But the thing is, once you achieve those benchmarks, what's next? I'm cool with the fact that you're doing it like everyone else. All right, you did it like everyone else. All right, let's move on. What next? And where the struggle comes in, and where we find ourselves in a mire about the life we're living without the energy to be inspired, is that none of us go beyond that. People like me, oh, hey, Chris, he's fucking crazy. Right? He's crazy. He's crazy nuts. I don't even listen to his shit. Well, of course you don't. You're too busy being like everyone else. Yeah, you don't want to be like me. I'm a weirdo, right? Yeah, okay, maybe not. I guess we'll have to see how this thing plays out. But what I do know is this. If you wake up and you do one thing every day towards something you want to improve in your life, there will come a time when that thing is improved. There will come a time when your goal has been achieved, right? You can be like most people with a little extra. You can be like most people until you finally get good enough at your podcast to be different than other people, to get that thing other people haven't been working for, right? I don't know. I wake up every day energized. I'm trying to get this thing down. This has been a tough morning for me. I started off on a rough one, just wasn't feeling it, got in my head a little bit about this. But then I realized that maybe this whole thing and the struggle to find people who understand what I'm saying, maybe it isn't because of what I'm doing or what I'm saying. I've come to the conclusion that there's a lot of people who are so caught up in the image of what that life is, they can't see anything else. Hey, something to think about. The question you got to ask yourself every day is, am I like most people? I hope you're not. I hope you're ready to go beyond that. I hope you're ready to pick something new up, get excited about it, and go after it. Hey, listen, until next time, just remember, today's your day. Make it a good one.